This is the Amp Hour Podcast, released May 30th, 2024. Episode 668, 50.0000 ohms.
Welcome to the Amp Hour. I'm Dave Jones from the EEV blog.
And I'm Chris Gamble of Contextual Electronics.
I screwed up.
What'd you screw up, Dave? I'm sure it's not that bad. How bad could it possibly be?
She who must be obey has ordered me to get new. Ordered to get replacements. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
So,
all right. What did you order improperly?
Oh boy. Well, no, I didn't order improperly. Dumbass Dave drilled holes in the wrong location and screwed some things up. So
okay. Well, did you put your drill through a like a power main or anything like that?
No, I put my drill through the front decorative side, whereas I should have done the back.
Okay, got it. Oh man,
yeah.
I have a story about that too.
Oh yes, okay, tell us. Then I'll finish mine.
Okay, for mine, I was, I'm the good repairman around here, and I was gonna put up a new shelf, and I had all these problems, and I was just like, I knew I was putting in anchors, and so I was like, I knew I was putting in drywall anchors, and I just like the drill would just not go through. I was like, I must be hitting a stud, and I moved just like 6 inches off to the right, and then I just like, God, I'm hitting the stud again. How is this even possible? Is it a double stud, or what's going on here?
Right.
And then finally, I'm drilling, and I poke through, and I hear crunch, and I'm like, what is that? Turns out there's a little bump out in our tile shower, like they put it into the.
Oh, you went through the tiles on the other side.
I went through the tile. Yeah, exactly.
No,
so
nice.
Like, sometimes they make the little shelves for like your shampoo and stuff like that.
Oh yes. Yeah. Oh right. So you had like a little recess thing.
It's further into the studs.
Recess. Right.
Yeah, I went right through that. So didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
Real dumb. Yeah. All right. Anyways, you're back to your mistake.
Oh, that is great. Okay.
Yeah.
As you've seen on my main channel, I've done some LED lighting. I've got these big LED profile strips. They're 1.2 meters long. They're quite large, right? Yeah. So I'm building these custom light strips. I had to make like half a dozen of them. So it's quite amount of work. You got to prepare them. You got to drill all the major holes for the mains cables to come in, because they're just an extruded aluminium profile, right? So there's no holes in them. So you got to sort of like custom make them for your requirements. Right, so we've got mains cables coming in one side, so we're going to drill out like a really large hole in one side for the mains cables. And then I've got to drill holes for the little lead wire cables to go into the, thing. So there's, drilling happening everywhere. And then, of course, you've got to mount them to the wall. So
these are like up firing lights, is that right?
They are both up and down firing.
Up
so
and down. Okay. Yeah.
You can choose. Yeah.
I'm just looking at the screenshot. It looks like you said it's extruded aluminum to hold the whole thing?
Aluminium, yes.
Aluminium. I can't even say it, All right.
Aluminium.
Yes.
Yeah. Long extruded aluminium, but it just comes as one piece. It's not. It's a complete do-it-yourself solution.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've had to drill the holes, but of course you've got to mount it to the wall, and there's no bracket. You don't want brackets because brackets look ugly, and they stick out, and it just looks bleh, right? And then you'd have to custom make your own brackets anyway somehow. So no.
You gotta buy a lathe. You gotta buy a mill.
I don't know what you'd have to do.
things.
Anyway, wasn't wife approved. Let's put it that way.
Got it.
So
okay. Sure.
So these things, to drill them into the studs in the wall, you've got to drill holes on the back side of it where the one, big one for the mains cable to enter, and some more holes for the mounting screws to go in. So, I set up my little production line of, half a dozen of these strips. So I'm drilling all the holes and everything. And then, many hours later, job done, right? Wipe my hands of it. And then the electrician comes in to install all these lights and everything, right? And he sends me a message and goes, There's something wrong with two of the strips. Luckily, only
Oh
two.
boy.
Luckily, only two of them. There's something wrong with the strips. The holes are in the wrong location. I thought, oh, it's just that like I've swapped them back, like
Yeah,
the
yeah. Like
ends
your
are.
template was wrong or something like
Yeah,
that.
like
Or,
something like
yeah.
that. And I can just unsolder the wires from one end of the strip and put it on the other just so that they match the others. I thought I'd goofed it like that. And no, he was talking about the holes. So I've got the large, I drilled them on the front, the decorative front. I drilled the mounting holes through the decorative front. So,
Not going to recover from that one real easy, huh?
yeah, unless you want to use some aluminium
What if you?
putty to fill it and paint
I was going to say,
them.
what if you like learn how to like weld it shut and then you like ground it down and.
Yeah, but they're all like this, like white matte finish. Like they're
know.
already like this powder coated.
Dave, this can all be solved by buying more tools. That's what I'm trying to say.
Right. Okay. Solved by buying more tools. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, the wife just said no.
Yep. Order new ones.
Do it properly. So I guess I've got two of these custom light strips for the lab somehow. So
Bingo.
I'll just
Bingo.
I'll
Business
just
expense.
Yeah.
Business
Exactly.
expense.
So I'll just install them in the lab here, and she'll be right. So, bloody spam call. Sorry, that's a yep. It
That's all right.
actually pops up and tells me it's a spam call. Does that happen to you? Does that happen on your phone?
No, none of my. I don't have a.
No.
It's like a landline. I only have cell
No,
phones.
no. This is a mobile, and
Oh,
it actually.
yeah, mobile does it once in a while. Yeah, if it's it actually just silences it now.
Oh, okay, right. Mine just
But
shows. Mine still rings. Maybe there's a setting I can do to make them not do spam calls. But yeah, it shows
silent
up
fail.
in big red. You know, because like somebody else has marked it as spam, and I guess if five people
exactly.
mark it as spam, then it, your service
I
provider.
always mark it as spam. Oh yeah,
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
It's worth it. It's public.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like
no, it
public
works.
works.
So- I get like two of these a day. It's really annoying. Yeah.
That's too bad. Yep.
The latest ones are all, do you need accounting services? No. Do you need, this other service? No. Do you need lighting solutions? No. Piss off. Like they've got a solution for everything.
Maybe.
So if you say no to one thing, by the way, we also do this, and we also do this,
You also
and
wash your car, yeah. Right.
yeah, right.
Also makes
bloody hell.
fries. Yeah. So you're buying off the shelf just strip lights, just the strip LEDs, and then you bought drivers as well. Like I'm looking at just like these big heatsink.
Yes,
things?
yeah.
Okay.
Basically everything's off the shelf, but you have to combine them all together and actually build
Got
them.
it. Yeah, I never really thought about. I mean, like the ballast type thing like that. I never thought that. Of course, you can buy it though. Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh yeah, you can buy it, but it's got to be the like the long, slim profile that fits inside this aluminium profile. So they're quite long. So it's quite it's pretty chocker in there actually. Even those things are very long. You've got to have the mains cable coming out the center, so it's got to run up the end, and it's got to be long. The cable's got to be long enough so that you can pull the drivers out the end, so that you can replace them later, right? Because you don't want to have to. Unscrew the thing from the wall and, dismantle the whole thing.
Yeah,
Yep.
right.
Yeah. And of course, the most, the thing that's most likely to fail is the driver in it. So,
What about so the LEDs themselves? Do they require any heat sinking or no?
Well, that's what the LED profile is for. You actually stick them down with a thermal adhesive tape.
Oh,
so
got it. Okay. Got it.
which I because I just went back to the light shop to order more profile, and I was talking to the guy there, and I had to and I asked him, have you got any spare thermal tape? And he goes, what's thermal tape? And I go, it's the stuff it's the thermally conductive double-sided tape that goes on the back of LED strips. And he goes, oh, is that thermal, is it? I thought it was just regular double-sided tape. So, I had to explain.
He's like, Bob's coming back in here next week, I think, with some burnt-out LEDs. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so I had to explain the concept of thermal conductivity and how that works, I've done an excellent video on that, by the way, way back, video
Way
number
back.
20
We'll
or something. I don't know.
Dig through, or Dave maybe will send me a video to
I will
include.
send you a link.
There we go.
EV blog.
He's
thermal.
nothing if not a self-librarian. That's the important thing. It's an archivist. Yeah. Well, that's great. So how soon is this stuff supposed to go? I mean, obviously yesterday. Is the answer.
Most of them are installed. The ones that I didn't goof up are installed.
Okay.
But power is not hooked up yet because the problem is we're installing some more circuits, and you've seen my fuse box, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
The
Needs a little expansion.
electrician's going, well, we only need 2 more circuits to put in. And
We could squeeze them.
when are you getting this switchboard upgrade? Because I am
Yeah.
trying, I did have this switchboard upgrade arranged, and then that got all screwed up because the bloody energy authority were going to change my meters on me.
Yeah. Right.
So the
I
guy who was
remember
doing
thinking when I saw it, it was a little more ad hoc than I would have expected.
it's just been expanded so many times. You can watch my early videos and there's not much in there. There's like 4 or 5 breakers or something. That's about it. Now I've got 2 home solar solutions. We've got 5. Our house has 6 heat pumps.
6 heat pumps.
6 heat pumps.
Wow.
We have 5 air conditioners.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
You should do a power quality video. Have you done power quality? You probably have, right?
Probably
I would be really
somewhere.
interested to see what your power quality looks like now with just think about the inductive load that's causing. And then also you're feeding in all the solar stuff too. And just, that would be really interesting to.
Yeah, but the thing is, most of it's not on all at once. It's just they're more convenience things. Oh, okay, we need to heat up this room for a little bit, or we need to cool it down for a little bit. It's not like we go, whole house must be at 22 degrees Celsius all day long, and we're running our 5 air cons.
I feel like you're throwing a little shade there, Dave.
Well, yeah, because
that's the way. Come on, man.
Well, I've got I know people, and I've got neighbours who go, "Why is our power bill like $2,000 a quarter?" Oh, gee, I wonder why.
Yeah, right.
It's because that's the modern trend these days. Is you get these whole house ducted air cons. And
that's
you
the American way too.
Yeah. Is it okay? And you just set it to 22 degrees, right? Yeah.
I mean, that is the downside. Is that usually they have baffling that you can do motorized baffling and stuff like that,
right?
But then the way it's sized in a U.S. house as well, it's the blowers are sized for your ducting too, right? There's a certain amount of
right, of course,
air capacity, and so then if you start blocking stuff off, you might want to try and
right, it screws things up. Yeah, it can.
Yeah, I mean, well, for example, in my house, my the bathroom that's near my office right now, it just has an outsized amount of flow, airflow in the bathroom. So the house is cooling itself, whatever, in the summer, and it was just you walk into the bathroom and start shivering. It's just
right,
not, So you try and turn it down a little bit, but it's just that's not really meant what the ducting is meant for too, the little blocking air baffle thing. So it's a delicate balance.
Yeah, because we're very energy conscious, It's like, the aircon, it's just cooled it down just enough for us to be, happy. And our thermal insulation is very good, right?
Yeah, that helps too.
And we've just got a double glazing window update, and that works. Wow. We really noticed that. Yeah. It's like, oh wow, the house is so much.
Noticing it too because it's very expensive to get that done, and
right.
You want to make sure
it's like buying those expensive audio cables. You're going to hear the difference, right?
Yeah, exactly,
if you buy it, you're going to hear the difference.
You're going to listen until you hear the difference. Yep.
Yeah, right. Did you see the video of my repair, in quote marks, real simple repair of the $4,500 audiophile?
Oh
DAC,
no, I saw that.
Digital.
I saw the thumbnail. I saw the thumbnail. But no, what was the deal with that?
Well, that was my neighbor. Hugo DAC. It's a Hugo's the brand, I think, or is that the model? I can't remember. Anyway, it was my neighbor's thing. I was walking down my street, my neighbor was there, and he said, "Hey, I require the services of Dave Jones." And once I heard that, I went, okay, what have you got that needs fixing? And because I actually have the channel and I repair do those sorts of things. So he's got this, it's an audiophile DAC. It's like a little battery powered thing because you want it battery powered because it sounds better, of course. You don't want an external plug pack powering the thing and then all the crap that comes through on that, et cetera, et cetera.
Through. Sure,
right,
sure.
yep.
Yeah.
And it's 4,500 Aussie bucks, I think it is. Is the new price.
$50 here. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Cheap as. And and it's apparently somebody in my comments said the guy who designed it used to work at Burr Brown or somebody who makes DACs one of the major semiconductor companies who makes like premium high-end DACs, or Cirrus Logic or somebody like that,
Yeah,
right?
Wolfson, maybe.
Wolfson, I don't know, something like that. Anyway, the guy who founded this Hugo company, oh God, no. Now we have to get the name right. Here we go. EV Blood Audiophile, a Chord. Chord is the brand name, Hugo is the model. Okay,
Got it.
so
Yep,
Chord,
yep.
as in Chord, as in a musical chord. Huh. Yeah. So the Chord Hugo DAC, $4,500. So yeah, apparently he left there because he had this whiz bang idea of implementing this serial DAC thing in an FPGA that does it magically somehow. I don't know. It sounds more betterer,
Yeah.
I don't know, which is totally legit, right? Like, it's actually probably a very good technology, and I have no doubt it sounds excellent, right? But the question is it worth $4,500, right? Is it?
Well, it is what it is. That's what the price is, and whether it's worth it is up to you as an individual,
Exactly.
Do you hear the value, Dave? I don't know.
Do you hear it compared to like a $400
my ears are capable
DAC?
of hearing.
No. Your speakers aren't capable of reproducing the difference.
If someone walked me in a room, they're like, "Do you hear it?" I would just nod my head and be like, yes.
Yep.
Look at those. Oh, the highs and the lows and the mids.
Yeah.
Oh, those mids.
Oh, the staging. Oh, you can just the separation. The separation between the
Taste
instruments.
the EQ. Yeah, right.
Oh, God.
Did I just hear the percussionist fart? Oh, this audio.
Yes. Oh.
This audio DAC is so great. I hear everything.
Yep. Yeah. Anyway, my neighbor didn't pay the $4,500. He actually bought it secondhand, cheap. So yeah.
I'm actually looking at the screenshot of this, and I'm surprised that it looks like there's a Bluetooth module.
There is a Bluetooth module. Yes. So you can stream over Bluetooth. You can either have audio in or you can have Bluetooth. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or is it Wi-Fi? I can't actually remember.
Yeah,
anyway,
sure.
Something like that.
Doesn't matter at this point. Yeah.
Yep.
But it's. I'm just surprised that the audio file types would let RF near anything.
well, of course, you can buy your $1,000 Ethernet cable to actually connect to your NAS. Which has your MP3 songs on it.
Completely,
your high bitrate lossy MP3.
FLAC.
Oh, FLAC, right. Yeah. For those aficionados, yeah. Oh, bloody hell. Anyway, I'm sure it sounds very good, but, I wasn't seeing the $4,500 value. I was seeing $450 worth of value.
Thanks.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it was apparently, the story of the guy left one of the big semiconductor companies because he had this idea, and I guess now he's rolling it in, selling a few thousand of these a year, maybe, or something like that.
Good for him.
Yep, I'm sure it's a couple of $1 million business for him. And yep,
I bought a new product, and I was a little embarrassed about buying it. It's a pricey product. It's called Invisible Computer, and it's completely. I bought it on a whim, and I bought it because in anger. I completely gapped on a haircut that I had. Like I looked up at my phone.
What?
And I'll get there. Don't worry. The story will come around.
All right.
I was like in middle of the workday. I had scheduled, this haircut because my barber, for some reason, is very packed. And I looked at my phone and it's like, hey, you missed your appointment. We'll reschedule sometime in the future. And it was like an hour past. So I just completely lost it. And it's been happening to me more lately. Just I'll get deep into something and I just miss something. I'm like, I need to have like a heads up display of my calendar somewhere. And so I went looking for it, and I'm like, in anger, I bought this thing called Invisible Computer, and it's basically an e-paper calendar. And it's like, it's a little embarrassing, to be honest, because it's like...
so you have this thing on the wall or something, and you just...
Exactly, and it updates
and it syncs with your Google Calendar or something.
That's right, yeah. And so it's just always there, it's always on.
Okay. I can dig that. I can dig it.
It's $175,
oh,
which is
okay, that's pretty... Yeah,
it's a lot, right? I mean, like I'm a little embarrassed about that. But
I'm sure
really,
you could do an open source solution.
Yeah,
but
that's the thing. I won't. I know I won't.
That's
the thing. That's the point I'm at in my life. I'm like more money than time, and I'm like,
yes, of course.
If I miss a important business thing instead, right? That's way.
Totally. It's worth more than that.
And so but I'm very impressed. It's like it's a hardware manufacturer out of Germany, very small operation. Really, it's like e-paper, people are probably listening to me like, oh, e-paper with ESP32, like how hard is that, right? And the answer is it's not. It's really all the software and the app development and like the
Right.
setup and stuff like that. And then, it's like, yeah, you're hooking in the Google Calendar API, but it's like it just always has to work. That's all that really matters to me.
This looks really nice. It's got like a wood
Yeah, it's
frame
like all wood.
surround on it, like,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
No, it's
yeah.
nice.
It's,
It's
it's
nicely
pretty
made for sure.
schmick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
it's
it's
really
a
nice.
nice design. I like it.
I see a
Super
cable
easy
coming
setup.
out of the bottom of it. Is it not like
Yes.
battery powered and updates like
It's
has a
USB
burst
powered.
thing?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a bit disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, it could be battery powered, I'm sure, right? But it's
Right, but how often do you update? How often does
yeah,
it
that's the
pull?
thing. It only really updates when it's when you get to, so like there's even an option where you can turn it off so that it doesn't darken. Like, so right now that's the end of my day, and so everything that was on my calendar today got kind
Right.
of darkened out, because it's like anything that passes, then you know that it's
Got it.
passed.
Yep. And by default, it shows the next 3 days. Is that?
Mine is just one day. I just want to see one
Oh,
day.
okay, right.
But it's
Okay,
like multiple
you've got so
calendars
many
across.
things happening in one day that you want it.
Yeah, I
Yep.
synced like 3 calendars at once. So
Okay,
that,
right. My life is not that busy.
Yeah. I mean,
Yep.
Yeah.
But
Work calendars,
I can appreciate it. Yep.
Yeah, work and personal and family calendars all at once. So, yeah.
Now,
Yeah,
look,
it's an interesting product though. Like it's a nice little design. It's nicely done, and like I said, it's what is the value? Well, it's in this case a lot, because I haven't missed a meeting since.
Right. Now, if I was to design this, how I would have done it is I would have had an internal battery, right?
Okay.
And I would have had a single button on the front, which is a sync button. So what you do is you can come along and you can have a habit of manually syncing it, or it syncs it once or twice per day in the morning or something like that.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. And if it didn't dynamically update throughout the day, I think that would totally work, because you'd have like you said, it'd be one thing a day. You put the processor into deep sleep.
Yep.
E-paper has
Has
basically
zero
it's
power.
it's nothing,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Yeah. And yeah, no, that could definitely work.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would have done that. So there's no internal battery option. It's just a.
I think there
always
might be
external
a
use.
real-time clock. It's
Right,
got like
okay.
a brass back on this one.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it's the thing. It's like really not. I should really open this up, but it's not super fancy. Doesn't look very fancy. Like single circuit board, single. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And did this just pop up somewhere and you went, "Oh, that's cool," or did you go actively
No, I went
searching
looking.
for?
I went looking,
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was
Got it.
surprised there weren't more options like this.
Right.
Like calendar. This is really meant as like, it's meant as like a showpiece. You could have like on a account. You could have. It
Oh
maybe
yeah,
on
no,
the
it
fridge
looks
and stuff
really
like that.
good. Yeah, it looks fantastic, except
no,
for the
it's all-
cable coming out.
Yeah, the
So-
cable could be better, but like I
Yeah.
said, I'm happy with it, and
Yeah,
it definitely
yeah.
fits. Like it's on my
Groovy.
desk, like right next to my camera and stuff like that
Yep,
too.
yep.
So.
So it's right there in your. Yeah, I can totally. This is what I like. It is not a jack of all trades, masters or none. It does one job.
Yep, exactly.
That's it. Even so, which is why I'm surprised they called it invisible computers, which implies that, oh, look, it'll do this too, and it'll do this, and it'll do this, and then it ends up just sucking at all of them, Whereas I would
maybe.
have called it invisible calendar, maybe. But then you can't branch out later. You can't, if you call your company Invisible Calendars, then you can't,
That's true.
Yep.
Yep.
So, yeah, I can appreciate. Well, I would have called my company Invisible Computers, and then this is the Invisible Calendar product.
Yeah. That could
So,
work, yeah.
Anyway, very cool.
Anyways, yeah, happy customer so far. So
Yep.
people need
Great.
something similar. Yeah, nice little. And I think it. I look at something like this. It's like it's like a product that could be produced by an individual. I don't know anything about the company other than it's in Germany. It's like
Right. Yeah.
very reasonable. Like people that are listening, I'm sure as well. Like thinking about this kind of like the target audience is maybe people like me, but probably more likely just like people that are going about their lives trying to solve a problem like this. And it's like
Yes.
this is like electronics in the real world in a non-consumer context, right? It's not cheap, but it's not unobtainium like $4,500.
Yeah, no,
for
it's
DAC.
not. It's
And,
yes, it's not a $4,000 DAC. Yes, it's
Right.
$175 for your productivity is not much, right?
Right. But
It's
I think
actually
the key
quite
thing
a reasonable price.
you're making the key thing to me is like the fact that it's like super accessible and easy. Like I think about like giving this to my folks, like they could set it up. That sort of
Right.
thing.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like all the other stuff is all the expensive stuff to me is not probably the electronics,
Yep.
in my mind.
Got it. Yes. No, it's making it work and making it polished and Yep,
Yeah.
making it seamless. So you can't. So it's not touch. You can't do anything on it.
Nope.
It's just
I
a
don't want
physical.
to.
Yep,
Yeah, I don't want to.
exactly. I was going to say you don't want to. Yeah,
Yeah.
yep. It's well, maybe if you wanted to like swipe across, you know, to give the next day or whatever. No,
No. I think
no.
if you're not like, I want this thing to be like super passive. Like,
Yeah, right.
yeah. If I need something more active, I go to the actual computer. Like,
Right.
calendar.
Yes. Yeah. Well, which you're on the actual computer anyway, which is where you set stuff up. So
Yeah. Exactly. Yep.
which is where you're entering all your calendar stuff and you're doing all that sort of thing. So you're planning your week, and this thing just helps you. Right. What's on today?
Yeah. Exactly. It's
Yep.
it's really habit building and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
For some reason, I'm not good at checking my calendar and like really knowing when something. But the other thing I could use in the same context is like something that like clocks me over the head when there's a really important meeting and I'm about to miss it.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, just like
Oh
literally
no.
like shoots a spitball at my face.
No,
you know?
well, yeah, I find it annoying that maybe I don't have things set up properly, but things that I do have inside my calendar, I actually miss them. Like, because it's not, there's not a Nerf thing to my head.
Dart, yeah.
Nerf dart to my head to go,
Yeah.
you've got an appointment, Yeah.
I was listening to
I was going to the doctor's the other day. Totally missed it. I was sitting there all morning. Right, I've got an appointment at 11 o'clock.
Totally. Yeah,
11
exactly.
o'clock, 11 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Still missed it. Still missed it because I don't know. I was just,
See,
Yep.
so this is an interesting thing too, because I was listening to an interview. Cal Newport was on the Prof G show, Scott Galloway's podcast.
Oh, right.
And he was talking about like, so Cal Newport's like a kind of not new agey, but like he's like a productivity expert. He wrote about like becoming an expert in certain areas. And he said he's a Princeton computer science guy, but also like a very popular author into like productivity hacks and stuff like that. Anyways, he was talking about like all this crap about AI, right? All of this like LLMs, whatever, is like interesting, but ultimately commodity. And that like the real thing that needs to happen is the kind of that next level of like logic and reasoning and like understanding like a calendar, for instance. That was the example he gave, where it's like, so like the real thing for me is that like I could set up reminders, right? I could set up reminders that say like every time I have an appointment, ding really loudly. But the problem with that, from my perspective, is that I have tons of stuff on my calendar. A lot of it doesn't really matter that much. As much as I like to think that I'm important, it doesn't actually matter that much. But like,
or you can simply miss it. Like I could be down in the bathroom down there, and my computer going, loud ping.
Right.
I could simply miss it. You know?
Totally.
Yeah.
And like actually useful system in that case would actually like figure out what is the most important thing. The example he was actually giving was about email and like helping you to actually like discern what is the most important thing in your inbox at one time. But I think that could be extended to a calendar very quickly too. And like you need to understand a lot more context around like the entirety of your schedule and like the complications of, like basically like strategic planning around your entire life before you can realize that like, oh, no, that meeting at 1 p.m. with, customer A is the most critical thing that is on your calendar this month or something like that. And like, do not relent until you hear from me that I am in that meeting, that sort of thing.
Right.
It's like, that's a lot of additional stuff rather than like, oh, here's 10 things that will make it, so that you organize your office better. Like we're still at the listicle phase of LLMs and AIs and stuff like that. So,
and then stuff like, that you can't anticipate, like, your child has just been taken to hospital. That priority number one, instant priority number one. But how do you plan
cancel
for
everything else on my calendar, that sort of thing? Yeah, totally.
Exactly. So, AI, Jesus.
AI, I'm over it.
It's just, no, I'm totally over it. Although I was thinking about trying to, because I'm always dabbling, right? I've been dabbling with, all sorts of different types of AIs and stuff, like just to see what it's all about and everything. And AI is basically demoware, okay?
Yeah, I think that's right.
It's like they promise everything and you can't. Yeah, and then you try and use it and it doesn't do anything practical for you,
That's right. Yep.
Like there are exceptions. Yes, it can write pretty decent code. It can really help you out writing code, for example.
Until it doesn't.
Until it doesn't.
You get shot yourself in the foot, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but
I think that's the thing that bugs me about it all is just like, yes, it's very impressive. Like all this stuff underlying is like super impressive. But the thing that really bugs me about it is like the amount of like fervor and like investment dollars that are going towards it. And it's like, I know it's going to be a thing, right? I just can't I can't get enough enthusiasm about it being
You're
like
right.
this life-changing thing.
Yeah.
And then when people start talking to me about it, it's whole like so life-changing, I'm just like, I'm glad for you, man. I'm just not there, you know. And
Yeah.
I'm sure
No.
it's just gonna snap on one day, and you know, it'll be like that for me too. But I am not a convert
Yeah,
yet.
there'll be
I'm a late
niches
adopter.
here and there, but I am not on the train of, oh my God, we're going to have universal AGI
Oh yeah,
next
yeah.
year. You know, no, it's bullshit. I'm on the public record as saying AGI will not happen.
Ever.
Period.
Oh, okay.
Ever. Ever.
Ever.
I am on record as saying that.
Well, there goes
And I'm going to
my
stand
chance of
by it.
making it to a meeting on time, Dave. I
Yeah.
mean, if there's
Yeah.
not an AI helping me, I'm
Heaps
not
of
sure what
people
else.
will claim it. I mean, it'll be claimed
sure.
until the cows come home, right? But it won't be it. It'll be some niche specialized thing.
Hmm.
And of course, people are now wondering why AI, why, you know, OpenAI and all the other, every flavor of AI out there actually lies, hallucinates. Is because that's what humans do. It's trained on humans. Humans lie. They hallucinate. They get, you know, all sorts. Every
Make up
human,
falsehoods. Yeah, right.
oh yeah, every human, you know, bias, every human problem that there is. That's how AI works. Because humans are language models as well. That's, you know, humans are actually language models. If
I like
you
to
didn't know
imagine
that.
that one of our listeners just smoked a huge bowl of pot, and they heard Dave say that, and he's like,
Right. Wow, man.
"Whoa, man!"
Humans are large language models.
Yeah.
Which is exactly, and people wonder why AI's lying to them. It's because that's what humans do. That's how our language works. That's how, even if, you know, if you get down to it, that's actually how humans think and work. Humans
I've been
don't.
lying this entire episode, you know?
Right. How humans work is that we reason, we decide first and we reason later.
Yeah.
That's how people think that people do reasoning and they come to a decision. No, that's not how the human mind works. The human mind works, you make a decision based on whatever that is, right? Whatever falsehood or truth that is, and then you reason it later. That's how the human mind actually works. And this has been proven in countless studies. So, yeah. So, yes, we're reasoning machines. We're language machines. So, sorry to
And
tell you.
also monkeys. We're also
Yep.
monkeys.
And, yep. Anyway, so, yeah, AI, no. You know, people keep telling me it's like, because I make long form content, right? We make long form content, right? Our shows. And people say,
very
oh,
long. Yeah.
yeah. And there's the, you know, hours long, right? And there's these AI tools that will make snappy that will take your long form content and produce fantastic guaranteed short form content from that long term content. Nope. Everyone I tried is just garbage. It's just garbage.
Yeah.
It actually 0% hit rate. You know,
Yeah,
like it is like, yeah, okay, they're fancy formatted and they got, you know, it's got the stuff, but it doesn't have the stuff that makes it work. That actually makes a nice short form content work, like a good short that goes viral. It just doesn't have that capability. It might luck upon it very occasionally, but no, it just doesn't work.
It's not there. Yeah, magic's not there.
No. And I, you know, and people saying, oh yeah, but it's just months away. It's 6 months away. It's 12 months. No, it's not. No, I'm sorry. You know, it's trying to polish a turd, you know, taking long form content and trying to make short form, a good short form, polished short form content. No, it's polishing a turd. Well, not polishing a turd, I don't know what the analogy would be, because the long form content isn't a turd, right? It's just one thing, you know, you can't, I don't know. Don't know what the analogy is. You've got like you have a car, which is a complicated machine, right? And then you try and, we can just take a few parts from it and make something useful.
Take two wheels off and now it's a motorcycle.
And now it's a motorcycle. Yeah, it
Right.
doesn't quite work like that. Yep.
Yep. Yeah, agree.
Bloody AI.
Agree.
Yep.
Speaking of polishing turds, I've been back in the 3D modeling space trying to improve my turd-like designs.
Yes.
And I have nothing to really add about the actual designs itself, but I did learn, did you know that USB-C has a defined outer diameter?
As in the
Right.
physical connector.
Yeah, well, like so there's the metal housing piece.
Yeah.
I never thought that the overmold actually
Oh,
had
the
a
overmold. Oh, I didn't. I have not looked into the
did you know
spec.
that?
No, I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
And
It's
I'm not sure
actually got
there's
a.
different classes of cable and stuff like that, but
Oh
I was
yeah, yeah, yeah. There
so I
are.
had made like a really thick walled like 3D print where even though the USB connector was basically right up against the edge of this thickly walled piece of plastic.
Yeah.
So like basically the USB-C cable wasn't making it through, right? And so I
Ah,
wanted to make
right.
a kind of an inset there. And I was like, well, how big does it have to be? I wonder. And it turns out, yeah, actually that overmold is spec'd as like 6.5 by 13.5, I think, max, maybe 12 and
Ah,
a half max.
interesting. There you
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
And then immediately the first cable I plug in doesn't meet that spec. And I'm like, what is going on here? Like, of course, right? But
Right.
it was also like a higher speed cable. Maybe it was like a Thunderbolt cable instead. Like I still don't really understand the difference in USB-C versus Thunderbolt. I know something about like the rated speeds of these things, but I don't I can't pick them out of a lineup
I
sort of
I
thing.
couldn't tell you. No.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, no, the USB C standard. There's so many different, not variations, but so many different levels of it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know, it's
exactly.
just
Yeah,
crazy.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, they say
yep,
it's all the same thing, but really it's like
mm,
the same common standard
yep,
and everything's backwards compatible to the
yeah.
slowest thing, right? Like the
Oh
two
no,
wire
and there's yeah,
USB 2.0. But then also you can start layering on Thunderbolt 3 and 4 and like, PD and all this other stuff on there. And then and it's doing the negotiation at the
it's
beginning to
just
see
crazy. No,
how it's, what it's
yep,
rated for. And yeah,
yep. No, and like you can't just buy a USB C cable, right? Right,
you could buy them on AliExpress, man.
right.
Yeah.
But what
I
does
would
it
trust them.
do?
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
It
I've
charges at
got
500 milliamps,
right.
and it flips
Well,
over.
I just got something in the mailbag. It's going to be in my latest mailbag video. It's an automated USB-C cable tester, and it's got
Ah.
it's actually intelligent. It's got a little LCD on it, and it tells
Oh,
you,
nice.
and it actually measures it. Tells you whether the ground is shorted to the shield. It tells you
Ooh.
whether it's a USB 2 standard cable, whether it's a USB 3.2 standard cable, whether or not
Yeah,
it's
right.
what value of resistor and chip ID it's got in there, and stuff like
Yeah.
that to do the various charge standards and whatnot. And it's just like I'm plugging in all these different cables, and they're all bloody different. You
Yeah,
know,
right, exactly.
they're all got standard USB-C connectors on them, but that's about as
Yeah,
far as
exactly.
the as far as the similarity goes. The
Yeah.
cables are all
No,
different. So,
I got burned by this the other day. So I
oh yeah,
finally I've been I finally when did this happen? I switched back from Linux Mint to Ubuntu because I really wanted to get access to the LTE modem that's in my laptop,
right,
and the latest kernel has support for it. Blah 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 whatever. But then I've been editing videos and like the Linuxy stuff that I do, it doesn't have enough juice just using the integrated graphics. And so I was like, well, I do have this like old eGPU where it's basically like an RTX 1050 in there, like an NVIDIA card.
yeah,
And but then you need Thunderbolt in order to talk to this dock. It's the Thunderbolt 3 dock. And so I was trying and trying and trying and installing all these different drivers, and I could not get it to work, could not get it to
yeah,
work. And it's because I'd been using the cable to a different USB-C dock that I had,
uh,
and then I just went and plugged in of course, the cable that came with the original dock. And I finally was like, I wonder. And I
well,
went and
yeah,
plugged it in, and of
and
course
sure
that
enough,
worked, right?
yep,
Yeah, of
yep,
course, like no doubt.
yep.
Should wasted 6 hours or something like that, but
Yeah.
now I have my graphics card back, and
Yep.
that's nice. So all is forgiven.
We could say, well, you could solve all these problems by just buying the most
The best
highest
cable.
end, expensive, best cable and use that for everything. But you've seen how bloody thick and
Yeah,
inflexible those things are?
I
They're
know.
like,
Yeah,
oh my, like if you get like the highest rated, highest bandwidth, highest shielded one that's got all the whiz bang, stuff in it,
hmm
it's got all the cores and everything. It's like you can't even bend the thing,
right,
you
exactly.
know?
And that's the kind that I plugged in where also the overmold
Right.
didn't fit into
Yep.
the
Yep.
because it was meant for like a hard drive, like a really high speed hard drive to talk to
Mm,
a computer, and yeah, that thing did not fit into this 3D print that I did. So
right.
yeah.
Interesting. Oh
Mm.
God.
I've
Bloody
never designed
USB.
anything. I've designed with USB-C connectors, but never
Yes.
like
Right.
the fancy version. I feel like it's like there's different like class levels, you know. Oh, they're
Yes, you haven't
literally are, but
designed
like,
some,
yeah,
really high speed,
yeah.
leading edge interface with it or something.
I'm not
Yeah.
doing anything like that, you
Yep. Yep.
know.
Same here. I just
Yeah,
haven't had the need. But
yeah.
yeah, it's just crazy.
Mhm.
HDMI's like that too.
Is it
It's like, yeah,
really?
like, I'm doing some HDMI cabling at home at the moment, and it's like, oh, which one do like? Oh, is 4K enough? And then there's new ones that are rated for the higher bandwidth 8K, and then there's another one on top, another rating for HDMI cable on top of that. So
Seriously?
you've got you can't just buy a HDMI cable. It's the
Well,
same
I
or
do.
worse than USB.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have had problems. I have like a 3 meter HDMI cable, and it like
Yep.
works 75% of the time.
Right. Oh no, it's just it is crazy. Like,
What is
yeah,
happening then, though? Is it like what's happening in the receiver that it's like able to figure out that it does or doesn't work too? Like that's what I don't understand. Is like these high speed transceivers are like
yeah, right.
doing some kind of like boot testing when they detect a cable is there? I don't get it.
I
Like
don't
with
know if they.
USB-C, there's like the pulled up, pull down type stuff, right? Like the 5.1K
Yep.
for like the old version of
No,
the.
I think for these, it's just the tightness of the twist in the cable and the shielding, which gives it the bandwidth and everything like that,
Hmm.
right? So it's going to have a tighter twist, so it reduces the common mode noise, blah 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 blah, right? Yeah, it's got better transmission. Yeah, it's basically a better transmission line, right? So I'm actually staring at the new standards, right?
How many zeros of the 50 ohms do they get? 50.000000000.
Yep. And how does the eye
Oh,
diagram look like at the other
yeah,
end? That's what it basically comes down to. Is it
yeah,
within the acceptable eye diagram? Yeah. And you need, test gear that costs tens of thousands of dollars just to measure that,
yeah, yeah.
right? And it's nuts. Well, I'm looking to stand at the moment. There is HDMI 1 to 1.1. There's 1.2 to 1.2a. There's 1.3 to 1.4b. There's 2.0 to 2.0b. There's 2.1 to 2.1b, right? So there's two,
Can you
four,
imagine having to
six,
sit
eight.
in that goddamn room where they're coming up with these standards?
Yeah,
Like, oh my God. Like,
there are 12 different levels that I can see here in the wiki table of HDMI cables. 12 different levels you can go to, and the highest ones are 112 gigabits per second.
hmm, wow,
112 gigabits.
that's
That's
that's something.
insane, right?
Yeah,
Your
yeah,
normal
that's high.
4K one, right? Your normal 4K one works anywhere from 6 gigabits up to 54 gigabits, right? So you can buy, so if you've got a 4K TV, right, you don't just buy a 4K capable cable. You've got to know what type of 4K cable you need. Oh, do you need 2.0, or do you need 2.0B, or do you need 2.1, or do you need 2.1B, right? There's 4 different choices there just for a 4K TV HDMI cable.
This is why I watch everything in 480 interleaved. Just really to simplify my life, you know?
Oh man, it's just
Yeah,
it's insane. It
yeah,
is almost black magic how they can get 10K, 112 gigabits per second down a bloody 10-meter HDMI cable or something.
yeah.
It's just nuts.
I'm looking at a right now that I was just looking up the controlled impedance. I didn't know if HDMI was what USB is 90 ohm, right? The controlled impedance.
Oh, something like that. I can't
Yeah,
remember
I'm pretty sure it is
offhand.
80 or 90, but HDMI is 50 apparently. And I found
Yeah.
a layout guide. That's interesting enough to put in the show notes.
Yeah,
Um,
I used to do that because I used to do
yeah.
HDMI design, and
Oh
but
yeah. Okay.
yeah, but this is like a decade ago. This is maybe 15 years ago, almost now.
Yeah.
12 years ago at least, 12, 15 years
HDMI
ago.
-4 version
Yeah, right.
-4.
And it wasn't too bad back then, but you had to take care in your layout. And I did bit error rate testing on
Sure,
that
sure.
because we could get a VHDL plug-in for the FPGA that this HDMI was going into, and you could run bit error rates. You could just run it 24/7. I just sat there watching it. Oh, error. Every hour or something, there'd be a single bit error, and that was because you didn't lay out your PCB properly, right? Is another spam call? No, it is Mrs. EV blog. Should I answer it?
Right. Definitely not a spammer. That would be a really that's really when AI is coming for us, Dave, is when the spam calls also sound like your wife.
Right. Yes, because they've used AI to clone a voice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah. Do you need
Yeah.
any help with the accounting, dear?
Boy, I'm just waiting for that prank call where somebody's already cloned my voice and then they call me with an AI chatbot and it's like me talking to me. It's me like
I think that's
spamming
not as you would
myself.
know that's not normal, right? I think the ones that are scary when it's someone you
Oh yeah,
know.
no,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yep. But I've got so both yourself and I have so much audio out there. People could
True.
easily
Yeah. And
clone
it could be
us.
me
You know.
calling you. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That,
Exactly.
you know,
Yep.
don't believe anything I say, Dave. That's all I'm trying
No,
to say.
well, it's that reminds me of the time that somebody impersonated me, and I've done a video on this. Maybe we'll have to link it in EV blog impersonation.
I think
Yep.
any video like that has to start with "my voice is my password."
My voice is my passport. I think it
Passport.
was.
Damn it. Yeah, I think that's
Passport.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
voice is sneakers for those who don't know what we're
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
about. So yes, sneakers. One of the best hacker movies. I actually did a poll on this. Which is the best hacker movie? Is it War Games? Is it Hackers? Is it Sneakers? Or is it? I put something else in there. I can't remember
I
what it
think the
was.
real thing is going to come down to where it landed in your personal story. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. For me, it's
I think
Hackers.
most people are probably gonna. It's Hackers, really.
Oh, I friggin' love Hackers. I mean,
Because
the other
there's-
ones are great too. Yeah, I mean, the other ones. Are
Come
great too,
on, it
but,
was
like,
Angelina Jolie, right?
I mean, yes, but no. Also, just like there's so like the clothes are so bombastic, and like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
references are
yeah.
so terrible, and
And
like
they're
oh
roller
man,
skating through that, the big down
rollerblading,
ramp
Dave.
through and they're playing the games. Oh,
through.
sorry,
Yeah.
rollerblading. Yeah,
Oh man,
rollerblading. Yeah.
there's so many
Oh my God.
so many references, and
Yeah,
like I
it's
don't
so
know, there's always like
90s, right? It's so,
tons of like DEF CON references too, like referring back
yeah,
to it. So like yeah.
yeah,
Anyways, yes, that has my heart. So
yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, because you're
it's a
too
terrible
younger.
movie. Yeah, it's
Oh
terrible.
yes, oh yeah, no, totally.
It's
But
so
I
much
know,
fun.
I just
So
watched it.
much fun.
I just watched it a couple of months back. I think just like I
So
can't
worth it.
help it. You kind of go, oh
yeah.
yeah, I'll give it another watch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because
Pull
you're
out the
too young to
Laserdisc.
remember War Games, right?
I've seen it, but I didn't jam with it as much because it wasn't
Right.
like
Yeah.
the people that like really jam with war games were like, "Oh my god, look how great that computer is." And by the time I watched it, I'm like, "What's up with this freaking computer?" You know what I mean? Like it's
with
like,
the switches on the front panel, like
well, I was
yeah,
just thinking about
like
like
a giant
the
8-inch
simulated
floppies, right?
lines.
Yeah, right.
But if you were like coming up in the computer era too, it's like,
Mm.
yeah, that was the jam.
Yeah. Oh, I've got a bit of trivia for you.
Okay, hit us.
Do you know who wrote the dial-in program, the famous war dial-in program? That's where the term war dialing comes from the movie War Games. The war dial-in program. You
not.
won't be able to know.
No, I
I'm
didn't.
sure you. Well, you probably even haven't heard of him, Captain Crunch, the famous Captain
I've heard of
Crunch.
Captain Crunch.
Yeah,
I know who
yeah.
that is.
He's the
Yeah,
one who
he's-
actually wrote that war dialing program for the movie. So
I
that
see.
was used in
Captain
the movie.
Crunch has fallen out of favor in general.
Right? Has it?
Captain Crunch
It's a
has
series.
some dalliances at conferences. Is no longer welcome at many conferences as a persona non grata. Yeah,
Oh,
unfortunately.
really? Why?
Yeah,
What's the?
some bad stuff. So yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, right. Okay. I'll
I
have
think that
to
was Captain
check into
Crunch.
that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Really? Wow.
Well,
all right.
I should check before I start speaking.
What's his name? Draper. Is it John Draper? Is that his name? God,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, banned from DEF CON at least for sexual misconduct.
Oh, okay. Right. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, John. I was right. John Draper, Captain Crunch. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's sporting a white bushy beard now. Apparently.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay. Well. Anyway, where were we? War dialing.
Yeah.
And you're just I can understand that you watched it probably in the 90s. You watched the movie in the 90s or something, so you weren't there in the 80s to really watch it and fall in love with it. Yep.
War dialing, right? So war dialing is where basically you like iterate through numbers, right? That's like the idea, and you see what picks up. You see if any computers pick up that sort of thing.
Yeah. You just call every number in Sunnyvale.
Do you know war driving? Do you know what that is?
Yes, war driving. Yes, you drive around and you look for open Wi-Fi spots or something like that.
Yeah. So interestingly, I have been looking at an API lately that allows you to basically, like, in your phone when you like turn on Google Maps and it's like, do you want to turn
Hmm.
on Wi-Fi locationing? And if you say yes, basically your circle gets like much smaller. Have you ever seen that?
Circle. What circle?
Yeah. So like your approximate area. So like the idea
Oh,
being that,
right. Yes, yes, yes. You do on the maps. Yes, if you turn on Wi-Fi, it can narrow down where you are better.
right, right.
Yeah, right.
And so I've been looking at this API where they've been around for a long time, but basically you can put in the MAC addresses and the RSS IDs that you like see in your general area, and it'll just spit you back your GPS coordinates. It's like
Ah,
so
wow.
wacky to me. Like
Yep.
I get it like in theory, but the thing that really blows my mind is that like our phones are actually helping optimize that algorithm all the time, right? So like
Right.
I go to another country, say I go to like a fantasy world where nobody has ever experienced the Wi-Fi access points in that world, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if I walk into that world and somehow I still have, cellular connectivity, my phone basically could wait for a GPS signal, which is expensive thing, battery wise. It could then say, within like 10 meters, Chris is approximate this location. And then it would capture all of the Wi-Fi stuff in that area and then say Chris is within this area. And then Dave also walks in there. And it starts
Mm-hmm.
to just over time, Dave walks in there, Bob walks in there, Mary walks in there, all these different people walk in there. And then eventually it just starts to narrow it down and say, oh, when you see these when you see these different access points, then you're
Yep.
approximately within this area. And then you start to see new things, and you start, because you have the RSSID as well, or sorry, the RSSI, the signal strength of it, you also start to get much better locationing. And
Yeah.
it's wacky to me that this has just been built up over time, and now it's something you can go out and you could buy access to that data. It's just
Yeah. It's
blows my mind.
crazy.
I don't know. Yeah, it's just like, and that is as much as like the amazingness of GPS locationing is like, it has nothing on these Wi-Fi like location, because it's just like so accurate, you know,
Hmm.
because it's like a constellation of basically satellites that are within, 100 meters of you,
Yeah.
that sort of thing. So
We have zero privacy. Learn to live with it.
it's not, yeah, I guess that is the thing. I don't know. It's just, that's like one thing that's kind of blowing my mind a little bit, but it's really the large numbers that go into that sort of thing, right? Like just the number of entries that are in that database and
Oh
like the
yeah.
back
Yeah. It's
calculation
crazy.
that happens from all
Yep.
that. I think the easier way in my mind that they would be doing that is being like, oh well, Chris has a MAC address of
Hmm.
AABBCCDDEE, right? And we know it's a precise location to the to the nanosecond um, of latitude longitude is here, and then you build up that database because people registered it, right? But they
Yep.
don't have that, right? They don't have like hard location. They only have everything is
No.
relative.
And
So
they can,
yeah,
yeah. And they can just
yeah,
infer where you are. It's like a Google live traffic thing, right?
yeah,
That is,
right,
but like it can tell you that there's a traffic jam around the corner because everyone's got their Google shoe phone turned on and in tracking mode, and Google knows when you slow down at an intersection and everyone's sort of like stuck at the intersection or whatever because I don't know, there's some or stuck in the middle of the road, and it can tell you that there's traffic around the corner.
yeah.
Because everyone's got their Google shoe phone turned on.
Sure, sure. But then the scale of that, right? The fact that they're doing it not just around the corner, but they're doing it at every corner.
They're
Like
doing it
yeah,
everywhere. Everyone who
yeah,
uses
it's
Google
whack.
Maps. Yeah.
Yeah, just the
Yeah.
hyper scale of it all. It's just
Yeah. It's
I
crazy.
know it's like nothing new. Nothing's new here,
No,
right? It's
no,
just that
nothing new. It's been going on
I've
for a
dug into
decade.
one
Yeah.
corner of it, and I'm just
Yeah.
like like looking into the chasm and just be like, oh wow, that's where all that money went. Yeah,
Oh boy.
yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Anyway, what else we
Way
got?
to build. Oh, I got nothing on the list, man.
Oh, all right. Really?
I've not been adding stuff lately. Yeah, and unfortunately, Unmanaged has found something else to do, which is totally cool.
Oh, yep. No, no. It's he sends me emails personally now.
Oh, there you go.
So I'm
Yeah,
getting personal emails now. I'm getting personal
yep.
things, which there's always something interesting,
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, which is good. Like I'll often, send me something and I'll go, oh, that's cool, and I'll tweet it,
Yeah,
So
there you go.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing we talked about last time and has continued to kind of propagate is just the CHIPS Act stuff. So there was one on here from, oh, look at
yes,
that.
I see that.
Young individual named Chris Gamble posted there basically Polar Semiconductor got another chunk of money, right? So like all of
Right.
these things are going there. I think we did talk about it last time, but I was listening to something that said it was 30, it's 10 to 1 basically. So for every dollar the CHIPS Act is putting in, the
Yep.
chip companies are putting in 10, which is
Right.
like
Okay.
wacky. So I don't know where it's all going to go. And like, we've already seen kind of like the stop start kind of capabilities of, will they, won't they of CHIPS Act money.
Yep.
But if it does, like it could be it'll probably be 5 years from now, maybe 10.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's
It's a
just going to be a lot
long-term
of
play.
capacity.
Yep.
Yeah, it totally is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that part's exciting. So,
So what do Polar Semiconductor, what's their range got?
I thought
What
Polar
are they
was
into?
tied. I thought they were a rebrand of the Open PDK. I could be wrong about that. Open PDK.
High
'Cause I
voltage
know that one's in
semiconductors.
Minnesota.
Okay. Right. I thought they
What's
were
that?
into high
No,
voltage.
Skywater's different. Yeah, sorry. Skywater was the Open PDK. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So high voltage is the Polar stuff.
They do analog and power semiconductors. Yeah. So, they'd be more into your automotive and like high voltage solar semiconductors and stuff like that. Yep.
Yeah.
Technology.
Yeah, and I'm sure. I mean, if I put on my cynical hat as well, probably things the U.S. military is involved in, interested in, right? Like,
Well, the interesting thing about their website is they've got about us, they've got manufacturing, they've got technologies, markets, and resources. Where are products? It's like they've got we've got all this whiz bang technology,
they
but
don't have to. It could be other people
it's
going there,
not like
right?
that's why you probably haven't heard of Polar Semiconductor because
Oh, I see.
maybe you can get them at DigiKey or something, but they've got 40 volt. Here you go. They got 750 volt IGBT transistors and stuff like that.
Yeah, right.
So really really high end stuff. But like they don't actually have a product tab at the top. So they're more into like, well, what? Do you want a data sheet? Yeah. Which is very interesting because all the other semiconductor manufacturers will have a product tab, right? Products.
totally.
Here's our product portfolio. Here's our table of choose our different types of semis, and then here's the parametric table and whatnot. And they don't seem to have it. So very interesting.
Something we have not mentioned and is also on the list. I don't actually know if it matters at all, but Raspberry Pi is going to be going public soon. Did you know that?
Yeah, I think we talked about this.
Did we?
A couple of months back? Yeah.
No, ARM was going public again. I thought that's what we talked about.
Nah, could have sworn we've talked about it.
I haven't been sleeping much, so yeah.
Okay.
I think it's interesting.
Yeah, I'm sure we did because, I think if you search prior episodes, I think you might find we've at least mentioned it. Either of that or I'm an AI who's hallucinating. I'm a large language model who's hallucinating.
There's one 3 months ago.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah. Our
Dave
Raspberry Pi
Memory
is
for the
planning
win.
a London IPO, but its CEO expects no change in focus. So yeah, you're right. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the
you
real
go.
way to do that is search the show notes.
You're right, yes.
Fantastic.
So
show notes.
what we need for the website is an AI. See, here's the one thing I've been thinking about doing is that, I've been thinking about searching for an AI that takes all of my videos, all of my tweets, all of my forum posts and puts it all together so I can have my own little AI thing that runs on my website. Right. It's like search everything that I've done for this keyword, And
all right, Dave, we're going to do a live demo here. Just like they did on the stupid videos. Let's try them here. All right, here we go.
What are we trying?
Hi, ChatGPT.
Oh
my God, it is talking Italian right now.
I don't even have ChatGPT on my phone.
I do.
Non c'è problema. Preferisci continuare in italiano o in inglese?
No, talk to me in English, you stupid robot.
Got it. What's on your mind today?
Also, I told my friend about this thing, and it sounds just like his voice, and it's really creeping me out. All right, ChatGPT, can you tell me about the Amp Hour Electronics podcast?
Sure. The Amp Hour Electronics podcast is a popular show focused on electronics, hardware, and the maker community. Hosted by Dave Jones from the EEV blog and Chris Gamble, they discuss various topics.
All right, that's enough of that. Can you tell us, did Chris and Dave talk about Raspberry Pi on the Amp Hour recently, specifically about the IPO?
It's not going to do it.
Sorry, I'm having issues right now.
No, because OpenAI is not a live.
Oh no, they do
search.
live. Yeah.
Oh
no,
really?
It
does live now. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
1 second. Hey, ChatGPT,
Our electronics
come
podcast.
on. You're really messing up my demo. All right.
Sorry, I'm having issues right now.
Can you tell me if the amp
To
hour?
find more detailed information.
Okay, we're done with that demo. All right, this does not make it for good radio.
And dude, what's with that voice? You need the Scarlett Johansson voice.
I forgot about that. I just chose one of them randomly, but
Right.
it really sounds like my friend, and it's like I said, it's freaking me out. So
You totally need the stolen.
yeah, I saw it about that. Yeah,
Scarlett Johansson voice. Yeah. Anyway, I probably should install. Like, I thought about actually doing that the other day. I thought about trying to do a demo of this. You know, having it on my shoe phone and then doing like a live demo interacting.
That's the
with
thing.
The
This
AI.
is the thing that I mentioned at the beginning of the show. Like we talked about the demo mode. It just doesn't. It's amazing what it is. Like no doubt, right? That is cool.
Oh yeah, no,
super
totally.
amazing.
It's
I was
amazing
having
technology.
to work on my Spanish the other day. I was like,
It's just
yeah,
how practical
super
is
cool.
it? Yeah.
Yep. Technology.
Yeah. Anyway,
Are we sure?
it
sure we're gonna
actually
make it as a
pronounced
species?
EEV blog properly,
Yeah, that's true.
not blog or something. You know,
Oh, is that what it?
it actually knew to actually go EEV blog, and it actually So I was kind of impressed by that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, people can go back and search for their own, version of us talking about this 3 months ago, because apparently ChatGPT is not going to help us out, and Dave and I don't remember. So, whatever.
Oh boy. No, we talked about and go, well, what's it going to achieve or something like that, and is it?
That sounds
I don't
like
know.
us. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, have things changed since we talked about it?
I think the price went up. I think they're going to raise.
Oh, right.
more
Is
money.
there another bidder
Yeah.
or something? Is there or?
No,
Oh,
not
sorry,
like that.
no.
I mean,
Is there
they're
a
going public?
like?
So
They're going public, right? Have they gone public? Has it
They have
actually
not
happened?
yet.
Oh, okay.
Set for
right.
June 2024.
Right. But they've changed the price because they reckon they're worth more now for some magic reason.
I guess I'm wrong. It says 40 million. Now, that's not that much relative, So
40 million market cap.
no, 40 million. They're hoping to raise. So
Oh, okay, got it.
So like
Right.
they're selling some portion of the company and they're going to raise. I don't think they're selling a ton of the company. So
Okay, right, interesting.
they're probably going to buy something, buy someone, probably buy a bunch of chips. Yeah.
Well, they need to like rebrand with like AI in their logo somehow.
Like the raspberry, like eating the world, something like that.
Something like that, yeah. Or,
Yeah.
yeah. Otherwise, there's just no hype. There's no excitement.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, well. Wish them luck with their
Yeah.
IPO.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Good
that's
luck,
it
guys.
for today's show. We're done.
Yeah, I think so.
Come on, dude. We're struggling here.
No, I mean, yeah, I got nothing. I mean, it's pretty late here too. I'm running out of gas personally. I was out in the yard all day, so yeah, I'm toast, man.
Yep.
All right.
Wife and kids and home. Yep.
It ain't getting easier, Dave.
No.
Just getting older.
Oh, boy.
I like know how you feel, man. Like, whoa,
Oh.
Dave. Like, whoa.
I will do the get smart thing. And loving it. Come on.
Yeah.
That's it. We're done. Catch you next time.
See ya.